Hello everyone and welcome to another video. In late 1972, Doctor Who kicked off its 10th season with a very special story. Dr. John Pertwee joined forces with his two predecessors, Patrick Troughton and William Hartnell, to battle against a powerful new enemy, Omega. However, during this story, called appropriately enough The Three Doctors, Hartnell's first Doctor had a very minimal role. Due to his real-life health issues at the time, Hartnell could only appear in the story via reading out his lines on some prompt cards, with him then being shown on the small monitor screen of the TARDIS scanner. But this hadn't always been the plan. Originally, writers Bob Baker and Dave Martin had given the First Doctor a much more active role in their original storyline, when the story was called Deathworld. They then gradually scaled it back the more the production team became aware of just how ill Hartnell was at the time. They'd even written him to only appear alongside the other two Doctors for the final episodes, only to find out that even this would probably be too taxing on him, according to his wife, Heather. But this does raise an interesting thought. What if, in an alternate timeline, the First Doctor had appeared a lot more in the story? What if William Hartnell had a more substantial role in the Three Doctors? Now obviously this scenario is a bit of a tough one to do from a moral standpoint. After all, we're talking about someone with a decline in health here, at least when the story was made, of course. Hartnell's illness, which was a result of the hardening of his arteries, had been what had basically led to his original departure from the show back in 1966. He would often have difficulty remembering his lines during rehearsals because of his condition, and would grow increasingly agitated and difficult to work with behind the scenes. His health would have declined even further by the time the Three Doctors entered production in 1972. According to his wife, he would sometimes have good, lucid days, and then other times have really bad and awful days, where he'd even forget that he'd ever played the Doctor at all. Even when he did remember, the show might have still been somewhat of an upsetting subject for him. Whilst Hartnell had agreed that he couldn't continue playing the Doctor due to his health, I don't think he was terribly happy about it, and I doubt that it was entirely his own decision to go at all. He'd loved playing the part and how he became a hero to so many children. He loved it that much that he had been determined to at least do it for 5 full years, right up until the very end actually, before he reluctantly admitted that he couldn't really carry on. So I feel like I need to keep all of this in mind and be as respectful and realistic as possible in how I do this alternate timeline. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go with the idea of the First Doctor only joining his other selves in person for the final episode. Obviously, I mentioned in the intro earlier how this was part of the gradual process Bob Baker and Dave Martin had made in order to try and accommodate Hartnell's health issues and his wife's concerns over anything that might be too strenuous for him. In this alternate scenario, we'll say that whilst Hartnell is indeed still very ill, perhaps his condition isn't quite so bad that his wife reckons that he won't be able to do some studio recording for episode 4. There isn't loads that would need to be changed to the story to accommodate this, as funnily enough, in the version of episode 3 we got in real life, the Time Lord President mentions how they will use their last remaining amount of power to send the First Doctor fully through the black hole to help defeat Omega. This is, I believe, a remnant of the plan to have Hartnell actually alongside Troughton and Pertwee for the final episode, and for some reason it wasn't edited out of the script before they went to record that particular episode. So that's exactly what happens. The Time Lords just about managed to send the First Doctor through before their energy supplies are completely exhausted by Omega. The First Doctor appears just in time to help his other selves, face off against Omega in the final confrontation. The three Doctors offer him their box of tricks, which is still knocked out of the second Doctor's hands by Omega, causing a gigantic matter/antimatter collision and explosion. The Doctors quickly depart in a TARDIS just as the black hole is destroyed. And then that's it, really. The first and second Doctors make their farewells and returns to their own time zones by the Time Lords, and the third is still given back his freedom as a sign of gratitude and reward by the Time Lords. So the first Doctor's role still wouldn't be all that much, but he'd at least get to properly meet his two successors and help them with defeating Omega. I can imagine this giving him a maximum of 5 to 6 minutes of screen time, and Hartnell's wife Heather wouldn't want him to strain himself by doing much more than that. I know that ideally we fans would have liked it if Hartnell was physically there for the entire story, but I thought it was really important to try and stick with what was the most likely and realistic option instead. But anyway, there's my take on what if William Hartnell had a more substantial role in the Three Doctors. But what do you think? Do you like my take on it or not? And would you have done anything differently? Please let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, I hope you liked it. Please don't forget to press that subscribe button below, as well as press the bell icon on the side of it, so that you'll stay notified of when all my new videos come out. And I have a Discord server which you can join if you want to via a link in a pinned comment below. And I shall see you all in another video. So until next time, bye bye.